Hello, Taurus, and welcome to your September reading. So I promised you last time for the mid-August readings, um, your sign was the last of the readings. So I said we'd start these September readings with Taurus, and here we are. So I have already. Oh, by the way, thank you so much for your likes and your subscribes and your incredibly sweet comments. Um, it means so much to me, and I really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you. So so I have started this thing where I will shuffle and draw an animal card and read it from the book. Give you my interpretation, of course, but also this is usually when I look at these animal cards, they sort of serve as a umbrella for the thematic energy of the overall reading. So for you, and this is for Sun, Rising, or Moon in Taurus, or if you just are, uh, if you feel very connected to that Taurian energy, then this is a good reading to listen to. Do check out your Sun, Rising, and Moon signs, though, because these are such general readings. It gives you some extra insight, and you piece together the readings for yourself and take what works and leave what doesn't. But anyways, just to jump right into it, so I've been meditating on your sign, and I shuffled and I drew a couple animal cards, and there were two that wanted to come out for you today. So we have the bee. And we have the bear. And the bear came out, it feels like it's this energy we're moving out of and into this bee energy. So I'm going to read them both to you. So for the bee, and this sort of feels like for September, the dominant sort of umbrella energy that we're moving into. So the bee, earnest, hardworking, democratic. The bee personality is a delight to be around, especially when there's a team project on the horizon. Bees love to work steadily and thoughtfully until the final task is complete. They are sensitive creatures, aware of many subtleties at once. Since they are artists at heart, they usually add creative details to the overall vision. For the most part, they have bustling, joyous personalities, until they're too tired from all the work, and then they gripe, and then they sting. When in balance, the bee energy is content, active, and vibrant. And when out of balance, the bee energy is overworked and annoyed. And to bring into balance, a mini vacation. Okay, so then we have the bear energy. And the bear energy, this is waking from spiritual slumber, beginning anew, and this feels really strong for many of you. Okay. After a long winter, the bear arises from deep slumber. At first, the movement and effort is difficult, but the bear knows it's time to awaken and move toward the dawning light. The bear card represents an individual on the cusp of new directions and personal transformation. The initial weeks and months of this spiritual quest may feel tricky, cumbersome, and full of obstacles, but you have no choice, bear. Winter wanes, the warmth of spring emerges, and the journey of transformation begins. When in balance, the bear energy expresses itself as inner strength and a yearning to grow. When out of balance, withdrawal, lethargy, heaviness. And to bring into balance, movement and exercise. Okay, so yeah, we have, I am feeling, and there are a couple notes that I took when I was meditating for you Taurian beauties. I heard sacred space, and there was a sense of creating this sacred space for yourself somehow. And this need for it, sort of this need to in a particular way, set up your environment. Also, again, I wrote down this newness to the energy, and and then the bee came out, and and the bear, they both sort of are pointing to this newness, this new beginning, and I just heard harvesting your new beginning. So it's this new beginning that I feel has been, what's the word? Marinating, and now you're getting to work on it in a big way. I also, the energy when I was tapping into sort of this September energy for you. There's this gentle, soft, tender energy. Also, it's this very mutable energy. So there was this, I heard very loudly, be deliberate. So be so deliberate. There's a need to be so deliberate right now in what you're creating, because that energy is so mutable. And we have on September 6th a full moon in Pisces. So although sort of these emotions, it almost feels like these emotions are going to be, very physicalized, sort of very sensational. I do feel like they'll be moving through emotions quickly, and so there's just a sense of to be so clear and conscious of how you're making your decisions, and what's motivating those decisions for yourself. I also heard teamwork and commitment, and again, I feel the bee energy really does speak to that idea that whatever this is, there's this idea, for some reason, teamwork is coming into my mind's eye when I'm looking at your sign for September. So there's this working together, and this real, and then commitment. I also felt that there has been some sort of energy. There's been this starting and stopping, and I feel that September is going to break free of that in whatever sort of area that is. So let's take a look. Oh, we've got some cards popping out for you here. So one, we have the 8 of Pentacles. And then we have the 4 of Cups, and that sort of landed face down here on the bottom. And I feel like there's something that you didn't want to look at, or there might be something that you're not wanting to look at. And there's some sort of resistance around addressing whatever this is. It's this feeling of like wanting to turn a blind eye to something. But because this sort of, it's right at the base of your reading, it feels, or the base of the spread, I do feel like it's something that has to do with, I just heard core values, with routine, with old patterns and habits. There's something about, I just heard cleaning up your act. Taurus, September, it's supposed to come out. We have the 2 of Swords, and I'm really looking at the sun here. We're in eclipse season here, so it's very appropriate. But there's something about harnessing your power, about sort of, I get this chi energy here, this chi energy that you're cultivating. And also, I want to say that as I was meditating, the Magician card flipped out. And I feel that this is very similar to that. There's also this idea of being deliberate. When I heard be deliberate, which is big for you guys this month. It's, if you're deliberate, you can accomplish a lot. You can make great strides forward. But if you're not, then I feel like you're going to come up empty-handed when mid-September rolls around or next readings roll around. You could sort of feel like everything just kind of slipped through your fingers and you didn't really accomplish much at all. But if you are deliberate, there is this creative, and it just feels like highly productive energy that you're working with. So let's see. Taurus. There is, again, I just got strongly with this sense of teamwork, and also it's almost like there's this, you're listening to a bunch of different parties. It's like there's this sense of there are a bunch of people who have your ear, is what it feels like. And each one has something to offer. It's almost like a different way of looking at something, or a different approach to something. And it feels like what you're trying to do is sort of piece it all together and almost like I just heard finding all of the ingredients. For whatever you're making, for whatever you're building. And again, that sacred space, I feel like there's something around environment. There is sort of this focus around environment and creating something in your environment. This sacred space. Taurus. So I just heard new love. So for some of you, that could be this new love. And we have the Ace of Wands. So there is this new beginning energy in the Daughter of Pentacles. And I get the feeling, I just heard look up, look up. And there's something about this, there's a sense of this sort of this needing to, this, it's both this sort of sense of connecting to your spirituality, connecting to the bigger picture, connecting to look up. There's this, I also sort of get this sense of, it's like going from navel gazing and sort of looking at your, just sort of this time of true sort of internal reflection. And then we're up and out. I get the feeling that you're sort of, there's this putting things into motion now. There's this manifestation energy that sort of that's where what sort of was just in the headspace was just sort of more in your imagination. You're now making it real and constructing it. And again, there's this sort of magician energy of gathering all your tools, gathering your resources to put towards what it is you're wanting to make real for yourself. And you are making real for yourself. Okay, so we have strength, and I just heard Leo. So if you have a Leo sun or rising or moon, check out that video. But also just sort of, we're coming out of a Leo new moon, and solar eclipse. And also just sort of, if there are any Leos in your life, maybe check out that video. But also there's this, let me see here for 1 second. We have the 10 of Wands, and it's 10-11 up there. And again, there's this sense of shedding light on something. looking through all the mess this September. It's like you're looking through there's this discernment process. There's this, you're in a very focused way, sort of discerning what's useful for you and what's no longer useful. And there is this sort of this big focus on, okay, now's the time to be really discerning about what you're surrounding yourself with and by. And I'm getting strongly that this feels like work environment. Again, that sacred space, it just feels like work environment. And you're working on your work environment. And with this card, it feels like there's this, for this September, it's like there's this, you're like letting yourself look to the future in a really compassionate, open way. There's this new sort of openness and this new sort of courage when you're looking to your future. And a bit more of like this captain of your own ship energy as you're looking forward and really looking to create your future here. This feels this strong creative energy, and it feels like this energy is something like you're dreaming your future open. Taurus. I just heard heartache and headache. It feels as though there's this something that was causing you some heartache. It feels like it's now turned into a headache. So there's something about also, it feels like it's almost, I just heard checklist, so checking something off your list. And heartache to headache. So it feels like there's, for some reason, been this transition of something that's caused some pain is now just more, it's not so much causing, it's like there's this change in how something is sitting with you now. It's like what was more hurtful is now just an annoyance. And I just heard cleaning that all up. Okay, let's see. And again, we're looking at a lot of new beginnings here, a lot of sort of new love possibility as well. So that could be you deciding to break free of a relationship. But instead of a relationship, I want to say break free of an attachment. And this is Capricorn's card, the Devil. It also looks at time. And I just heard time's folding. So there's this something around time and time management. And I feel like time folding, there's this quickening of how you experience time. Okay, so we have the Devil. We have the Five of Pentacles reversed. We have the High Priestess reversed. And we have the Five of Swords. In the Five of Swords, it's sort of mirroring this Five of Pentacles. And there's something about looking at the numbers. So for you this month, there's something about looking at the numbers. There's something about accounting, about counting and taking count. I also just heard keeping score, keeping score. There's something that's being released here. And I'm getting something that felt, and it feels both material, but also it's almost like a matter of something connected to your sense of self-worth. And there's a lightening of that load, it sort of feels. So there's a lightening of that load. Whatever this is, that is material, but also sort of something that you connect with your self-worth, and sort of this release or this lightening of that load. It feels like there are mixed emotions around it. And there's this I just heard not quite knowing what's up and what's down. So it feels like something that there's something that it feels like you've been in the dark around something, and where decision making has felt a little bit like, I don't quite know what way's forward and what way's back. But it feels like you're getting there, and that is part of the journey. It's all this. It has to do with sort of this homecoming and this invigorating of this. I heard trust, this relationship, this trust that you have with yourself. And I just heard with your environment, within your environment. So this sacred space, this environment energy is really, really in the forefront here. It's like this revamping of your environment, or whatever this has to do with this, this focus on creating, on sort of, working with your space. It feels important, and it also feels inspiring to you. I just heard matter of fact. And the Five of Swords, swords, 5 is often a number that, in the tarot, that we can equate with some conflict. And it can feel like, with this one, I feel in particular, especially with the sword energy, sort of that mental activity, our thoughts and communication. We're also in Mercury retrograde here. But it does feel like there can be some challenges with communication. And I just heard standstills and, or standstill, and I heard misfire. So sort of, it can feel sort of like communication isn't quite lining up at times. This doesn't feel incredibly strong for you, but there does feel sort of some little miscommunications there. Let me pull a couple more cards. Okay. So I just heard clear it all away. We have the Three of Cups reversed. So yeah, there's this idea, and I put it right over the 5. So there's this miscommunication, and this social 3 of Cups in reverse. It's kind of letting it all go. Just sort of, if there are, as those miscommunications do happen, I feel like you can be more inclined to sort of say, okay, it is what it is. It's not a big deal. Letting it all go. And oh, here we go. And we have the Sun. So overall, this is sort of saying with a lot of live wire energy here. So so we're looking for September. Looks really, really productive, super productive for you guys. And there's this zeroing in. Although relationships are absolutely present, and teamwork and commitment are coming up big time for you guys, I do feel like the focus here, there is this sort of productive, ambitious energy that is this creative energy that is really where this September is really sort of that's sort of what this time period is about for you. Sort of this creative kind of ambitious energy, and just sort of as you move through it, and as you continue to move through it, it feels like there's just I just feel so much potential here. So there's a lot of potential over these next couple of weeks for you to make immense strides forward, to be really productive and really constructive. There's this shedding of old skin, it feels, as there's this like releasing, this shedding of old skin, and this coming into this highly activated and productive, constructive energy. And again, that creative sort of, or that creating that sort of sacred space, this environment, this focus on your environment, I feel like it's going to bring a lot of new sort of upstart energy for you. So this is what the next couple of weeks look like. Do again, check out your rising or your moon sign. And please comment. I really do love your comments. And like, and I appreciate all of you being subscribed, and thank you so much. And I will touch base with you in a couple of weeks. I love you so much. All right. Have a beautiful one.